Well designed and well executed by Derrick Henry to Corey Davis on Saturday. And that was just the moment where you kind of accept the fact that the Ravens, the best team in the NFL, are going home. One of the very surprising moments from the divisional round. We're going to draft now, Peter King. The biggest surprises we saw in the divisional round, not the outcomes, but specific moments, plays, decisions, etc. Be as creative as you care to be. And in lieu of posing the trivia question, I'm just going to let you have the first pick because I'm in a good mood today for a change.
Mike, I'm going to take the Bill O'Brien decision to run the fake field goal, 4th and 4 at your own 21, up 17 points midway through the second quarter. Now, I thought, what has happened? Has Bill O'Brien gone and called and hired the night before the game John Fossil, who's going to go rogue and run this idiotic play, with a sure tackler, Sorensen, on the other side, on that side of the field? First of all, great tackle by Daniel Sorensen. But second of all, you cannot fake a punt up 17 points deep in your own territory with 4 yards to go. I just thought it was one of the most foolish decisions I've ever seen.
Peter, I agree with you too. And my immediate reaction was Bill O'Brien has just told his defense, I don't believe in you. I don't think you can hold this
I don't trust
lead.
You.
Yeah. And he, you know what? He was right. Congratulations, Bill. You were right. You shouldn't have trusted your defense after all. But
you know what? In that way, you know what he did? He handed the Chiefs a gimme touchdown. Okay? And so we can all sit here and say, oh my God, the Chiefs, 7 straight touchdown drives. Unbelievable. And twice they had extremely short fields. And that one, because of a bad coaching decision. At least make them go 80 yards.
Yeah, it started with the long kickoff return from Mecole Hardman down 24-0, continued with the fake punt that failed, and then the following kickoff, the ball squirts out, and it's caught in the air by a Chiefs player, and they score a touchdown not long after that, and before you know it, think about what a blowout that game would have been if the Texans hadn't racked up 24 out of the gates. 51-7 is what the game was after that. It's just amazing to think of how it turned and how dramatic it was and how badly the Texans have to feel. But you're right, that was a shocker at the moment because the Texans were in control and they basically handed it over to the Chiefs at that point. For me, the first one that I'll take, and this one is not as obvious as others would be, but it really was a shocker to watch it play out in real time while we were there for the Vikings-49ers game. And I want to set this up. Start of the second half, 49ers up 14-10. Facing 3rd and 5, Jimmy Garoppolo found Kendrick Bourne for a 20-plus yard gain. Great little play. Bourne had a significant impact in the game. He had 3 catches. They were all very impactful. But after that play, after that great throw, that great catch, 3 yards gained after the catch, the 49ers went into run mode. It was 19-25 all over again. 16 straight run plays called by Kyle Shanahan after that successful pass. And look, along the way, the 49ers put the Vikings away because their defense put the clamps on Minnesota's offense. But to run and to be able to run the ball effectively so you can keep doing it, that was the stunner to me. The fact that Kyle Shanahan kept calling running plays, the fact that they kept gaining yards, and the fact that the Vikings couldn't stop it for 16 straight plays. I can't remember seeing something like that in a regular season game, much less a postseason game, Peter.
That reminded me, when I was watching that happen sort of in real time, Mike, I just kept thinking to myself, this is NFC football in 1986. This is the Giants or Washington or Dallas, more the Giants in Washington, that just said, listen, remember Bill Parcells once told me that he only had 4 running plays. And I said, you only have 4 running plays? In his playbook. I said, you only have 4 running plays? And obviously they did different things off these running plays. But he goes, yeah, I'll get more when people can stop us. And people just couldn't stop him. And Kyle Shanahan basically said to Mike Zimmer, hey, Mike, I'm not going to risk stopping the clock until you stop us once and prevent us from converting a first down through the running game.
Yeah, and how demoralizing that has to be for a defense as you feel your season slipping away and there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. All right, round 2, Peter, you're up.
All right, so Mike, the Baltimore Ravens had the best running game in football in 2019. We all know that. They had a record-setting running game. And they had on their team a 238-pound running back who averaged 5.3 yards a clip. And you're saying, geez, I didn't know Mark Ingram was 238 pounds. He's not. Gus Edwards is 238 pounds. Carried the ball 133 times in the regular season. He's no neophyte. He can play. You know how many rushes he had in a game where the Ravens were crying out for more of the power running game? 3 rushes in this game. It was very clear entering the game that they had a wounded bear in Mark Ingram. And so instead of going to the backup, who is clearly good enough to use and to try to pound down the opposition, instead of doing that, they basically only gave the ball to Gus Edwards in a cameo. He had 3 rushes, and the Ravens, I think, abandoned a part of their game that has been their very good friend all year, the power running game. And in that game, at home, they ceded the power running game in this game to the other team, to Derrick Henry. And I don't think they had to.
Yeah, that's a great point. Mark Ingram suffered the calf injury in Week 16, didn't play Week 17 along with other key starters. It's almost like they assumed he would be fine, and they never bothered to revisit during the game whether he really was fine, and maybe they felt compelled because he was such a key part of the offense that to keep going and keep using him even though he was limited, and you got this other guy who can get it done, and at some point you have to, and it all unfolds so quickly in that 3-hour window, and things are happening, and you're trying to figure out why your defense is getting gashed, and sometimes little decisions, you don't have the ability, even an accomplished coach doesn't have the ability to stop and say, wait a minute, we have to take Mark Ingram out. We need to keep using Gus Edwards over and over and over again if we have any chance of hanging with this Titans team. So good selection there. Next one for me, and we had a little hint of it in one of the TV-only segments from earlier in the hour. Jimmy Graham. Back to the future for Jimmy Graham. What happened to Jimmy Graham? I thought he had retired. He hardly did anything all year long for the Green Bay Packers. The fact that Aaron Rodgers trusted him in key moments after he had done nothing for most of the year and really hasn't done much during his 2 years with the team, the 27-yard pass over the top, the catch by Jimmy Graham there, and then the catch and the conversion that iced the game. Jimmy Graham, a guy that we had given up on, comes back and has a huge game against a team that I think sometimes the circumstances motivate you, and I'd like to see Jimmy Graham this motivated every week, but I think he was extra motivated against the Seahawks because once they traded for him, there was all that talk about how, he doesn't block, he doesn't do this. Well, he never blocked. Why do you want to take a square peg and jam it into a round hole? Throw the ball to him. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not turning him into a blocking tight end. He's a pass-catching tight end, and it never worked in Seattle. And I feel like one of the reasons why he had that big game is he kind of wanted to stick it to them a little bit for never really using him the way that he's supposed to be used, as a pass catcher.
Mike, 180 degrees different on this. Did you think that ball crossed the line? Was that a first down? And whether you say yes or not, here's my question. Should the NFL invest time, energy, and some money with chip technology, putting a chip on each end of the football so once and for all and finally we would know whether Jimmy Graham got it by the yellow line?
Peter, I will say this, and there is a member of the competition committee who has made this observation to me many times in the past. The year is 2020, and in football, we still determine whether or not a drive continues based upon 2 sticks connected by 10 yards of chain link. That it does not fly in this day and age. There has to be a better way to use technology, embrace technology, whether it's a chip in the ball, whether it's something else that can create a clear and unmistakable line to gain that whether you get there, whether you don't. And the problem here is because it happened out away from the hash marks and the lines and the numbers, there was no landmark. There was no objectivity to figuring out where the ball was in relation to the rest of the field. And of course, the yellow line, which doesn't show up during the game itself. It's look at it. It's not even where the first down is anyway. So I think that created the optical illusion for the viewers at home that Graham didn't get a first down. But the problem is, see where he lands. If it's near a hash mark, if it's near anything other than green, it's easier to figure out where to put the ball. But that yellow line kind of screwed things up a little bit. That yellow line needed to be back some. All right, number 3 for me, and I'm kind of going off the board.
I still would have liked to.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You go. I could go on this all day, but you go.
All right, number 3 for me, and the surprise for me came after the Tennessee Titans game, after they beat the Baltimore Ravens with that offense that has been expertly designed by Arthur Smith, the son of FedEx CEO Fred Smith. A couple of Tennessee guys, Fred Smith and Jimmy Haslam. I'm surprised, number one, Arthur Smith wasn't a candidate for the Browns job, and I'm surprised after seeing what the Titans did against the Browns on Saturday night, Jimmy Haslam didn't press pause on everything and wait for the opportunity to talk to Arthur Smith before hiring a head coach, because we don't just pick who the head coaching candidates are based on the regular season. At least we shouldn't. We should look and see what guys do when the season's on the line. And this goes to your argument that all of it should be tabled until after the Super Bowl, Peter. If it was all tabled until after the Super Bowl, Arthur Smith would have been a candidate for multiple jobs. He will be next year, but he should be this year. But too late, Arthur. All jobs are filled. The fact that he didn't emerge as a Browns candidate in the aftermath of that game was a little bit of a surprise for me.
Mike, you jumped the line. You went number 3 and you stole my spot in line, and I shall never forgive you for that.
How did I steal your spot in line?
I'm going to let bygones be bygones.
I did steal your spot in line.
I was supposed to pick third first.
I'm sorry. The rhythm was messed up because you asked me a question and I answered it, and I thought you had made your pick. Go ahead. I took your spot.
Yeah. My picks are so memorable that you thought I had made a pick I hadn't made. All right, here's number 3. Here's what surprised me about Sunday night in the NFL. The warm and fuzzy and sentimental and nostalgic Aaron Rodgers. Now, don't we all think that Aaron Rodgers, based on all the things we know about him on and off the field, Mr. Private, Mr. Tough, basically doing things his own way, everything. And Aaron Rodgers, after the game, did you see him? It was like he was at a parade down the Canyon of Heroes, thanking everybody. Hey, I love you, fans. I love you. You're wonderful. I love you over here. I love you over there. And then afterwards, basically spending about a minute in his press conference saying, this was really a great moment. I found myself looking up at all the waving towels and saying, my God, it's a treat to play here. We don't have an owner. We have a bunch of people with stock certificates. They're my owners. And after listening to that, I said, Aaron Rodgers, he gets it. He's gotten it for a long time. And I'll just tell you a very quick story. Last year, when I went in to do the Aaron Rodgers story when Bart Starr was still alive, and he said, man, it's a treat. I love Bart Starr. He's meant everything to me. At one point, we were out there with the NBC crew looking up, and I said, man, there's Nitschke, there's Starr, there's Lombardi. They're all up there. I said, you're going to be up there one day. He goes, maybe. And you could tell by his wide grin that that's going to be one of the great days in his life. And I just thought it was very cool and a little unexpected that Aaron Rodgers would soak it in right in the middle of the playoffs. I loved it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.